Most people do not go broke from one big financial mistake. They go broke slowly, quietly, one subscription at a time, one upgrade at a time, one storage box at a time, one "I deserve this" purchase at a time. And the most dangerous part is that it does not always look like failure. Sometimes it looks like success. A nicer apartment, a better car, a bigger closet, a newer phone, a kitchen full of gadgets, a garage full of things you barely touch. A life that looks comfortable from the outside, but is secretly expensive to maintain. Here is the truth: most people do not realize until it is too late. The things you own do not just cost money when you buy them. They keep charging you. They charge you in maintenance. They charge you in insurance. They charge you in storage. They charge you in repairs. They charge you in cleaning. They charge you in upgrades. They charge you in mental space. And eventually, they charge you in freedom. That is why two people can live in the same neighborhood, pay similar rent, earn similar salaries, shop at the same grocery stores, and still end up in completely different financial realities. One person always seems calm. They have savings. They can handle emergencies. They can quit a toxic job if they need to. They can invest consistently. They do not panic when the car needs repairs. They are not rich in a flashy way, but somehow they always have money. The other person feels broke every month. The minimalist money rules that separate the wealthy from the broke, not because they earn too little, but because their life costs too much to maintain. And this is where minimalist money rules become powerful. Minimalism is not about being cheap. It is not about owning nothing. It is not about living in an empty room with one chair and pretending that joy is forbidden. Minimalism is about removing the financial leaks that keep your income trapped. It is about building margin. And financial margin is the space between what you earn and what your life demands from you. The bigger that margin is, the more stable you become. The smaller that margin is, the more fragile your life becomes, even if your salary looks impressive. So today, we are going to talk about the minimalist money rules that consistently separate people who always have money from people who feel broke even on a strong salary. And if you want more practical videos on money, discipline, simple living, and building real financial freedom, subscribe to this channel now. Because the goal here is not to look rich. The goal is to become financially unshakable. Rule 1. Understand that stuff has a shadow cost. The first minimalist money rule is this: never ask only, "Can I afford to buy this?" Ask, "Can I afford to own this?" That question changes everything, because the purchase price is only the beginning. A car does not only cost the sticker price. It costs fuel, insurance, registration, maintenance, tires, parking, repairs, cleaning, depreciation, and sometimes stress. A bigger house does not only cost more rent or a bigger mortgage. It costs more furniture, higher utilities, more cleaning supplies, more repairs, more decorations, more storage, more time, and more pressure to fill the empty spaces. A designer bag does not only cost the price tag. It may cost matching shoes, nicer outfits, more occasions to justify it, more fear of damaging it, and eventually the desire for the next one. A hobby can be healthy, but if you're not careful, the gear becomes the hobby. The camera lenses, the fitness equipment, the gaming setup, the tools, the subscriptions, the accessories, the upgrades. Stuff is rarely finished after you buy it. Stuff wants company. That is how accumulation works. One purchase creates the need for another purchase and then another. You buy a bigger TV, then you need a better sound system. You buy more clothes, then you need more closet space. You buy a bigger home, then you need more furniture. You buy a luxury car, then your old clothes suddenly feel beneath the image you are driving around in. This is the hidden cost of stuff. It does not just take your money, it expands your lifestyle. And once your lifestyle expands, it becomes emotionally painful to shrink it. That is how people get trapped. They are not trapped by poverty. They are trapped by maintenance. So before you buy anything, ask yourself, what will this require from me after I own it? Will it need space? Will it need cleaning? Will it need insurance? Will it need repairs? Will it create more purchases? Will it raise my standards in a way that makes my current life feel inadequate? Because if something keeps taking from you after the purchase, it is not just an item. It is a financial commitment. And if this already makes you think of something you bought that became more expensive than expected, comment below, "I see the hidden cost." Because recognizing the hidden cost is the beginning of financial stability. Rule 2. Use cost per use. Thinking before you buy. The second minimalist money rule is cost per use thinking. This is one of the simplest ways to stop wasting money. Most people judge a purchase by the price. Minimalist money thinkers judge a purchase by use. Here is the formula. Cost per use equals total cost of the item divided by number of times you actually use it. A $200 pair of shoes you wear 200 times costs $1 per use. A $50 outfit you wear once costs $50 per use. That means the cheaper item may actually be more expensive. This rule protects you from impulse purchases, trend purchases, fantasy self-purchases, and emotional spending. And fantasy self-purchases are some of the most dangerous. That is when you buy things for the person you imagine you might become, not the person you actually are. You buy books you never read, workout equipment you never use, kitchen tools for meals you never cook, expensive clothes for events you rarely attend, aesthetic notebooks for plans you never execute, gear for hobbies you like in theory, but not in practice. You are not buying for your real life. You are buying for an imagined identity, and that imagined identity is expensive. Cost per use thinking brings you back to reality. Before you buy something, ask, how often will I really use this? Not how often you wish you would use it. Not how often the advertisement suggests you will use it. Not how often the upgraded version of yourself would use it. How often will the actual you, with your actual schedule, actual habits, actual energy, and actual priorities use it? If the answer is rarely, the item is probably not a bargain. It is clutter with a receipt. This is why financially stable people are not always the people who refuse to spend. They are often the people who spend well. They buy fewer things, but they use what they buy. Their money turns into utility, comfort, efficiency, health, learning, freedom, or meaningful memories. It does not turn into piles of forgotten objects. So the next time you want to buy something, pause and calculate the real use. If you cannot see yourself using it regularly, you may not want the item. You may only want the feeling of becoming someone new. And if this kind of practical money thinking is helpful, subscribe now. This channel is for people who are tired of looking successful while feeling financially exhausted. Rule 3. Use the replacement test. The third minimalist money rule is the replacement test. Before you buy anything new, ask, what is this replacing? If the answer is nothing, be careful, because that means you are not replacing. You are accumulating. Accumulation is one of the quietest enemies of financial stability. A person who constantly adds to their life without removing anything will eventually need more space, more storage, more organization, more cleaning, more mental bandwidth, and more money. The replacement test forces every new item to justify its place. If you buy a new jacket, which jacket leaves? If you buy a new kitchen gadget, which old one goes? If you buy new shoes, which pair are you replacing? If you subscribe to a new service, which subscription are you canceling? If you upgrade your car, what actual problem is the upgrade solving? This rule is powerful because it stops the slow inflation of possessions, and possession inflation leads to lifestyle inflation. People talk a lot about lifestyle creep, but they usually think it means big, obvious upgrades. A luxury car, a bigger house, expensive vacations, designer clothes. But lifestyle creep often starts much smaller. It starts when you get used to having more of everything. More convenience, more subscriptions, more delivery, more clothes, more gadgets, more premium versions, more little treats, more storage solutions for things you should not have bought. Then one day, you realize your income increased, but your savings did not. Your salary went up, but your peace did not. Your closet is fuller, but your bank account is emptier, and you cannot understand why. The answer is simple. Your possessions captured your raise before your future could. The replacement test helps you stop this. It turns every purchase into a decision, not an automatic addition. It says, if something comes in, something goes out. That one rule can save thousands of dollars over time, not just because you buy less, but because you become more conscious of what deserves space in your life. And here's a question for you. What is one thing in your home right now that you bought but barely use? Be honest. Drop it in the comments. Someone else probably has the same thing sitting in a closet. Rule 4. Create spending friction. The fourth minimalist money rule is to create spending friction. If your money leaves too easily, it will leave too often. Modern spending is designed to be painless. One-click checkout, saved cards, buy now, pay later. Auto-renewing subscriptions, tap to pay. personalized ads, limited time offers, free shipping thresholds, influencer discount codes. Everything is built to remove the pause between desire and purchase. But that pause is where financial stability lives. You need friction. Friction is anything that slows down your spending long enough for your rational mind to catch up with your emotional mind. Here are simple ways to build spending friction. Remove saved cards from shopping websites. Delete shopping apps from your phone. Unsubscribe from promotional emails. Turn off app notifications from retailers. Use a 24-hour waiting rule for small purchases. Use a 30-day waiting rule for large purchases. Move impulse spending money into a separate account. Use a written wish list instead of buying immediately. Do not shop when you are tired, sad, angry, lonely, or trying to reward yourself. Make non-essential purchases slightly inconvenient. This is not about punishment. It is about protection. Because your future self is depending on your present self to create systems. Willpower is not enough. If your phone is full of shopping apps, your inbox is full of sales emails, your social media is full of people convincing you that your life is incomplete, and your card is saved everywhere, you are fighting a war with no armor. Financially stable people do not rely on constant discipline. They design their environment so fewer temptations reach them. That is a major difference. The broke-feeling person says, I need more self-control. The financially stable person says, I need fewer traps. And that is wisdom. If you are serious about saving money, stop making spending effortless. Because effortless spending creates effortless regret. Rule number 5. Stop lifestyle creep. Before it names itself, normal. The 5th minimalist money rule is to stop lifestyle creep before it becomes normal. Lifestyle creep is dangerous because it rarely feels like greed. It feels like progress. You get a raise, and suddenly the old restaurant feels too basic. You get a bonus, and suddenly your phone feels outdated. You get a better job, and suddenly your apartment feels embarrassing. You start earning more, and suddenly everyone around you seems to be upgrading, so you upgrade too. At first, it feels harmless. Then the new lifestyle becomes your baseline. That is the trap. The first time you spend $200 on dinner, it feels special. The 10th time, it feels normal. The first luxury vacation feels like a reward. The next one feels like something you now deserve every year. The first car upgrade feels exciting. 6 months later, it is just your car payment. Human beings adapt quickly. This is called hedonic adaptation. What once felt like a luxury eventually feels ordinary. That is why lifestyle creep is so dangerous. It permanently raises the cost of feeling normal. And when the cost of normal rises, your financial margin disappears. You may earn more than you did 5 years ago. But if your standards rose just as fast, you are not freer. You are just more expensive to maintain. The minimalist approach is different. When your income rises, do not immediately upgrade your life. Upgrade your margin first. Increase your savings rate. Increase your investment contributions. Build your emergency fund. Pay down high-interest debt. Buy back your time. Reduce financial pressure. Then, after your future is protected, choose a few meaningful upgrades intentionally. Not everything. A financially stable life is not built by refusing every pleasure. It is built by refusing automatic upgrades. There is a difference. You can enjoy life without letting every raise become a permanent bill. Here is a powerful rule. For every increase in income, save or invest at least half of the increase before changing your lifestyle. If your take-home pay increases by $500 a month, automatically send at least $250 to savings or investments. Do it before you get used to having the money. Because once money becomes part of your lifestyle, it becomes harder to redirect it. Capture the raise before your habits do. If this hits close to home, comment below. Capture the raise. And subscribe if you want to build a life where more income actually becomes more freedom. The emotional side of minimalist money. Let's be honest, this is not only about math. If it were only about math, everyone would already be financially stable. Most people know they should save. Most people know debt is dangerous. Most people know impulse spending hurts them. Most people know they own things they do not need. But money is emotional. We spend to feel safe. We spend to feel admired. We spend to feel successful. We spend to feel in control. We spend to escape sadness. We spend to reward exhaustion. We spend to silence insecurity. We spend because for a moment, buying something feels like becoming someone. That is why minimalist money is not about hating nice things. It is about telling the truth. What are you really buying? Are you buying usefulness? Are you buying beauty? Are you buying convenience? Are you buying status? Are you buying comfort? Are you buying distraction? Are you buying proof that you are enough? Because if you are using spending to prove you are enough, no purchase will ever finish the job. There will always be another upgrade, another trend, another comparison, another reason to feel behind. Financial stability requires emotional stability. You have to be able to say, I can admire that without owning it. I can afford it, but I do not need it. I can enjoy my life without upgrading everything. I do not have to turn every raise into a bill. I would rather have options than applause. That is powerful. That is maturity. That is the kind of thinking that changes a life. A simple minimalist money checklist. Before you buy anything non-essential, ask these questions. Will I use this often? What is the cost per use? What is this replacing? What will it cost to maintain? Where will I store it? Will it create more purchases? Am I buying this for my real life or my fantasy self? Would I still want it if nobody saw it? Can I wait 24 hours? Would I rather have this item or the money invested? Does this support the life I am building, or only the image I am performing? These questions create a wall between impulse and action, and that wall protects your future. The final truth. Financial stability is not built only by earning more. Many people earn more and still feel broke. Financial stability is built by keeping more, using more intentionally, owning less that drains you, avoiding upgrades that become obligations, defining enough before your income is trapped, and creating a life where your money is not constantly escaping through invisible holes. Minimalism gives you something that consumption never can. Space. Space in your home. Space in your schedule. Space in your mind. Space in your budget. Space between you and panic. Space between you and desperation. Space between you and the next emergency. That space is called margin. And margin is where peace lives. So if you want to always be financially stable, do not only chase more income. Build a life that needs less maintenance. Because the person who needs less is often richer than the person who earns more, but cannot stop spending. The goal is not to own nothing. The goal is to own your life. And every dollar you do not waste on maintaining an inflated lifestyle is a dollar that can buy you freedom, time, security, and choice. That is real wealth. Not the wealth people clap for. The wealth you can breathe in. The wealth that lets you sleep at night. The wealth that gives you the courage to walk away when something is wrong. The wealth that gives you options. So start today. Cancel one recurring expense. Sell one unused item. Delay one impulse purchase. Define one category where you already have enough. Automate one transfer to savings or investments. Choose one rule from this video and apply it before the day ends. Small rules, repeated daily, become a stable life. And if you are ready to stop feeling broke and start building real financial margin, subscribe to this channel right now. Then comment below. What is one thing you are no longer willing to let drain your money? Because the moment you name the drain, you can begin to close it. And once you close enough drains, something amazing happens. You stop wondering where your money went. You start deciding where your money goes.